So this video in general talk about whole chocolate. Basically, they got all the cocoa bean that you saw earlier from the pictures. Go into the machine, remove all the shell at the beginning. Basically, just like what you have learned from the coffee bean. You have to do all the
Typical day in El Rey's. The grinding of the roasted nibs commences. It takes place in high-speed mills in 3 processing stages. This transforms the kernel into a fantastic dark brown viscous mass called cacao liquor, whose valuable fat content in Venezuela is anywhere between 50 and 60%. The liquor is then refined. By subjecting the mass to great pressures, the fat content, or cacao butter, is extracted. The solids remaining in the form of a hard cacao cake are ground into what we know as cacao powder. We're about to start making chocolate now. Different types of end products imply different mixtures. At this stage of the process, other ingredients are mixed in with the cacao. Cacao butter is added. At El Rey, we believe there is no satisfactory substitute for pure, unadulterated cacao butter. Sugar, precise amounts of natural vanilla, and milk if the desired end product is milk chocolate.
Someone has to do the dirty work, right?
This solid mix is transported to the refining machines where it is further ground in immense roller mills. Thus guaranteeing a smooth and textured blend, it's reduced to a particle size of 17 microns, which is indiscernible to the palate. Conching, the last kneading stage, subjects the mass to a series of changes. Humidity and volatile acids are expelled and the chocolate is smoothed to its final texture, flavor, and viscosity. Without conching, chocolate would end up being a rough and gritty substance lacking the uniform texture of fine chocolate. Only when it has been determined that the chocolate mass has reached its optimal state of texture and flavor is the warm liquid fed into storage tanks. Temperature is raised and lowered to give this coverture quality product its sheen and velvety texture. This is called the tempering stage, which takes place just before the molding. A glossy, unctuous flow of dark brown liquid is then transformed into chips, discs, or scrumptious balls. A vibrating movement extracts any remaining air bubbles from the bars. The conveyor belt transports the product through cooling tunnels, and finally it is unmolded and the glossy blocks proceed to the packing area. We are very conscientious throughout the fabrication process. Ongoing lab evaluation and direct line supervision are routine activities in our factories.
I don't know if this is a good job or not a good job, you know, to have. I mean, I can see all the chocolate because I cannot eat it.
Once the premium grade Venezuelan chocolate is packed in its various presentations, it is shipped to the best chefs, confectioners, and chocolatiers in the world.
Okay, let's see if this is working.
Testing. Testing.
Testing. Okay, good. Okay, so there are 4 types of chocolate that I want to talk about. So first one is the baking chocolate, basically the one that you use for like bakery, baking a chocolate cake and all that stuff. Okay, basically it has low sugar, milk, or flavor. Basically it's a bit bitter, okay? Now this is one of my personal favorite, the dark chocolate. I love dark chocolate, the higher the better. I love like 89%, 95% dark chocolate. I love something bitter, give me a really shock and alert. And you have some sugar and liquor. Now, the next part with the milk chocolate, some people like, okay, maybe dark chocolate is a bit too strong. Maybe I prefer something with a milk chocolate, you know, so it's personal favorite. Now, white chocolate, this is something I want to pay attention to, you know, white chocolate is not really a chocolate, you know, opinion, okay? It may look like chocolate, but it's not really a chocolate because it really doesn't have that chocolate maker at the really beginning, okay? So you may love white chocolate, but in my personal opinion, that's really not chocolate, okay? But we still call them 4 types of chocolate. Inside the chocolate, this is what you see, this cocoa butter, you know, the white stuff that you saw in the video, those fatty, that's what you saw, you know, like this is what it looks like. But remember, don't worry about this, just imagine that they all look like this, a little, like a little tuning fork at the moment. That's not that important, the actual structure. Now we talked about, you know, phase transition earlier. Why do I talk about phase transition earlier? Because now I want to talk about the nucleation. Okay, nucleation basically from liquid turn into solid. Okay, basically the freezing part. How does that happen? Basically there's 2 ways to happen. And one is called the heterogeneous nucleation, the other one is called the homogeneous nucleation. The heterogeneous nucleation basically happen on some surfaces, okay, where let's say your room is not clean enough, you have a little dust particle. Just one dust particle is enough. Basically, if my temperature is at the melting temperature or the freezing temperature, if I have one dust particle, the substance, that little tuning fork molecule that I showed you guys earlier, will start sticking onto the dust particle and then they'll start aggregating. And that's the initial point to start having the solid chocolate bar that you're going to have. Just one single dust particle. Okay, later on they will find each other and then you have your solid. So let's say if you do everything in a really clean area, environment, we have something, we can still change it into solid. We have the homogeneous nucleation. Basically, when the 2 little, you know, cocoa butter fat molecule, they can find each other with the right energy, orientation, everything, they will just stick. They stick together and then over time, they will aggregate and turn into a solid. Now, by the time they start forming solid, basically you're making all this little crystal. I don't know if you guys grow crystal before, but forming crystal, they can have different crystallization phase, different crystal phase. How do we adjust that? Because we want to make the best chocolate possible. Okay, we can pack it like this, we can pack it the other way. Now, with different temperature, we can control different crystal phases, how they pack. And basically in chocolate, we have 6 different types of crystal structure we can talk about. And for each crystal structure, they will have a different melting point. So this is their particular physical properties. Okay, this is really important. Imagine for a moment that you're not a lab scientist, you're maybe a business person. You're going to produce chocolate and you want to sell it to, you know, some supermarket, you know, welcome Target shop. Which crystal structure of the chocolate do you want to produce and sell it to the supermarket and to your consumer? Consider the environment in Hong Kong. Which one do you want to do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3? 26 degrees Celsius?
Last one.
Huh? 6. So, I mean, probably because, you know, during the summertime in Hong Kong, it's kind of hot and humid. I mean, you know, it's easily over 30 degrees. If your product is going to start melting at like 27 degrees, then by the time, you know, you're not buying like chocolate bar, you're buying some chocolate fountain or something, you know, you'll start buying chocolate fountain, everything start melting. It's just like, eat, not tasty. So if you're a business person, even you will realize that you want to bake the chocolate around 34 degrees Celsius or maybe even the 36 or 37 degrees Celsius. And by having not only the different melting point, but actually they actually look and taste slightly different depending on which crystal structure that they have. Now, how do I control different crystal structure phase? I mean, I showed you a little picture before, like science calls art. So I'm going to borrow this art piece from a really famous artist. Different cooling rates will basically affect the formation of the crystal structure. How much time you give them. If you don't give them time to cool down and pack, it may just look like a traffic jam, and they just jam together, just kind of messy. If you don't put enough effort and heart in it, you don't get good chocolate. It's not going to be tasty. If you give them really good enough time, they can rearrange and find the most optimum partner and form a crystal. They can form really nice pictures. And this is once again, I try to show you like how you can make different crystal phases of the chocolate, okay? Basically by cooling really fast or really slow. And this one, number 5, is actually what people like the most in general. It has a really good glossy texture and the most desirable form of chocolate. It tastes the best at the moment. And to get from 5 to 6, basically, you just let it, 4 months at room temperature. Just do nothing. So what is the secret of, making the best chocolate? If I just make the chocolate, I can get my 6 different type of phases. How can I control? I did not want to, have crystal phase 1, 2, and 3, and 4. I just want 5 and 6. The process is called the tempering. Okay, tempering, how does that work? Okay, we just want to make the most desirable crystal. Basically, okay, so we try to keep the temperature 32 degrees Celsius, but then why do we want to keep everything in 32 degrees Celsius? Final question. Why do I want to, heat up my chocolate at 32 degrees Celsius, not anything higher temperature, not lower temperature? Why 32? What's so special about 32 degrees Celsius compared to, yes?
The temperature in our town is 32 degrees Celsius.
The temperature in town is 30 degrees Celsius?
35.
Or 36?
37.
So are you a sales representative from M&M's? Because M&M commercial always say, it doesn't melt in your hands, it only melts in your tongue and your mouth, But not that quite. But I mean, we're not putting the chocolate in your mouth, So when we're processing it, why do you want to keep the temperature 32 degrees Celsius?
Oh.
To make sure what? The melting point to be below 34 degrees, because anything above 34 degrees, we're melting away a good crystal. By keeping it at 32 degrees Celsius, we're melting away all the undesirable form of chocolate. So this is one way for production. Okay, we want to make the most chocolate and just let it slightly cool it down. We keep making better and better chocolate that way by keeping it at 32 degrees Celsius. So this is what I did for the presentation. You may realize sometimes I put in the chocolate, I look at the water, and I try to stir the chocolate. Basically, I'm going through this process. I have this chocolate chip at the beginning. I heat the water up, and then I let it cool, and I try to maintain at 32 degrees Celsius, try to get my chocolate ready, okay? So I have this really nice and shiny texture at the moment. And basically, this basically concludes my talk. But before that, I have my chocolates ready, my fruits are ready, and besides using strawberries, I mean, this is the easier thing to find, we can also do apples. You go home, get apples, get a little popsicle stick, put it in, make the chocolate fountain that I just did, dip your apple in it, it looks good. If you like banana, if you want to do like, the first banana, you have to put in the freezer first. Okay, because you have to make the banana really hot before you can dip it. Otherwise, really mushy banana and hot chocolate, and then nothing will gonna work, okay? So if you want to have banana, freeze it, peel off all the skin, and you can have your frozen banana chocolate right there. Of course, to conclude, because it's the Benny and the Chocolate Factory, I have to show you a little video. This is what happens if you like chocolate too much. So if you like chocolate too much, don't fall into it, okay? And of course, at least make sure you know how to swim. That's important too. So that concludes my talk, and I would like to make a little reference from a movie from before, from the Forrest Gump. I don't know if you guys watched this movie before, but That's what one of the script is said. My mama always said, life was like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're gonna get. And to conclude my talk, I would like you guys, take some risks and expand your horizon, and good luck. Hopefully, I'll see some of you guys in HKU soon. Okay, one of the major in science, Faculty of Science. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Okay, so thanks for Dr. M to giving us an amazing talk about chocolate, chemistry of chocolate. So any questions you want to ask? Ask Dr. M.
I think they're ready to eat the chocolate.
All right, so may I present our school? Present a souvenir to Dr. M. So, James. Okay, for those students who have formed their chocolate, you may now proceed to the stage. And if you have any questions about chocolate, right, you may also ask. Okay, any questions about chocolate? You can also. For other students, you may go back to your classroom to have your last lesson today. Okay? Okay.